It's January 7th, 2021, 10:53 p.m. I'm going to read Liber Cadaveris, Ritual 120, or CXX, of Passing Through the Tuat. AA publication in Class D. Introduction. This rite, taken from materials in Crowley's diary, has the same numeration as Liber 120 CXX. In the matter of the directions, there are several markouts that make unclear whether he intends to use the ordinary elemental directions east, air, south, fire, west, water, north, earth, as is implied in Liber CXX and used in the Lesser Pentagram, Star Ruby, and others, or if he intends the directions of the cherubic signs, as in the planetary stations. East, fire, south, earth, west, air, north, water, used in the lesser hexagram, the star sapphire, and others. Or even the directions in Liber Reguli, north, air, south, fire, east, earth, west, water. The only set of directions that agree with the order of the spell itself, ignoring markouts on the directions, and to go in order of the verse to be said, is that of the elemental directions which I've used. There are a couple of other lacunae that I have not attempted to fill in, though it is obvious what is intended. Crowley sent this ritual to Frater Semper Peritus as part of the material involved in an order called the Order of Thelemites. In the Order of Thelemites, as also given in Liberae Vel Legis, there are but 3 grades: the Hermit, the Lover, and the Man of Earth. In all official documents of the Order of Thelemites, they are referred to as Magister, Adeptus, and Zelator. The requirements to pass beyond the grade of Zelator to the grade of Adeptus are that the candidate has completed the regular training of the Argentum Astrum. The requirements to pass beyond the grade of Zelator to the grade of Adeptus are that the candidate has completed the regular training of the Argentum Astrum prior to the grade of Adeptus. The requirements for passage beyond the grade of Adeptus to the grade of Magister are that the candidate be at least a Lord of the Paths of the Vault of the Adepts, that 11 years as an Adeptus to be completed, that the grade of the Babe of the Abyss in the Argentum Astrum be completed, and that there be a retirement from all active work in the order involving contact with groups. There were several other and more stringent requirements that also had to be undergone according to the Constitution. Pledge forms had to be signed and other work completed. Several papers were attached to this, which includes the opening and closing of the temple, as well as the initiation ritual for Zelator, which has to be performed under 4 eyes. These were Schedule A, Opening, Closing, Initiation Ritual of Zelators, this paper; Schedule B, the Form of Initiation of Adepti. It is explicitly stated that there shall be no form of initiation for Magisters. Schedule C gives the conditions by which Magisteri appoint Adepti to help Zelators, and notes that the general plan of the OTO is to be put before all members of the Order of Thelemites. Ritual 120, or Ritual CXX, called of Passing Through the Tuat. Members assembled, clothed, throned, enter the Aerophant. All rise and salute him. The ceremony of recognition followeth, but all or one shall show on entering the temple the mark of the beast, lest the guardian of the temple be hasty with them. All words and numbers affirmed, crieth the Aerophant or Magus. Abrahadabra, hail unto thee, Heru Raha, Rahor, Abrahadabra, Lord of the Day. The dark of the sun is sunk in the waters of Amentet. Let there be a gathering of the Lords of Silence. He knocketh, he riseth, and giveth the 3 signs of, taking the weapons of which he means to work throughout, or if he be assisted by a child, the appropriate weapon to be advanced to the center, and crieth, I am armed, I am armed, I am strong, I am strong. He goes to the west, where dwell the undines. With my wand I drive back the dwellers of water. To the south, where are salamanders, let the dwellers of fire cower before the fire of my sword. In the east, the home of the sylphs, let the winds draw back at the waving of the spear. In the north, among the gnomes, I have imprisoned the inhabitants of earth. Let them keep silence before me. Returns to center. I am armed, I am strong. Let them bow before the splendor of Ra-Hoor-Khawiit. Next he performeth the 4 adorations as taught unto the outer world. I am the Lord of Thebes, and I the inspired fourth speaker of Mentu. For me unveils the veiled sky, the self-slain Ankh-Afnakansu, whose words are truth. I invoke, I greet thy presence, O Ra-Hoor-Khawiit. Unity uttermost showed, I adore the might of thy breath. Supreme and terrible God, who makest the gods and death to tremble before thee, I adore thee. Appear on the throne of Ra, open the ways of the Khu, lighten the ways of the Ka. The ways of the Kabs run through, to stir me or still me, Om, let it fill me. The light is mine, its rays consume me. I have made a secret door into the house of Ra and Tum, of Khepra and of Ahathor. I am thy Theban, O Mentu, the prophet Ankh-Afnakansu. By Besnemeut my breast I beat, by wise Tanek I weave my spell. Show thy star splendor, O Nuit, bid me within thine house to dwell. O winged snake of light Hadit, abide with me, Ra-Hoor-Khawiit. Followeth the mystical dance as taught in secret. Or let the magus trace 11 circles around the room, traveling against the course of the sun. For that is, in effect, he that is still, the earth revolving. Let the hymn be sung, or the mantra recited, but ere he end, let him sing. Above the gemmed azure is the naked splendor of Nuit. She bends in ecstasy to kiss the secret ardors of Hadit. The winged globe, the starry blue, are mine, O Ankh-Afnakansu. Then he cometh to the east of the throne of Ra and crieth, Unity uttermost showed, I adore the might of thy breath, supreme and terrible God, who makest the gods and death to tremble before thee. I adore thee. Prostrating himself to the west, then he resumes his throne, assuming the might of the God, and saith, The light is mine, its rays consume me. I have made a secret door into the house of Ra and Tum, of Khepra and of Ahathor. I am thy Theban, O Mentu, the prophet Ankh-Afnakansu. Silence. Then, abracadabra. He knocketh. Closing. Abracadabra. Hail unto thee, that art Ra in thy rising. The disk of Khepra standeth upon the waters of Amentet. It is the hour of the dispersal of the lords of silence. Rising, he doeth the ceremony, precisely as in the opening unto the second verse of the song called the spell, but he goeth with the sun, as allowing nature to resume her sway. At the east of the throne of Ra he standeth and crieth. It is the hour of the feast of Ra-Hoor-Khawiit. Lifting up the cakes of the Holy One of Light, the priest shall recite. I fly like an hawk, I perch upon that abode of the Aat, on the festival of the Mighty One of Light. Let us live upon that which the gods give us, and the Khus. Let us live and get power by these cakes. Let us eat them before the gods and the Khus. Let us get power by these cakes. Let us eat thereof under the shade of the leaves of the palm tree of that, Our Lady and our Holy One of Heaven. Let the offering of the sacrifice, he maketh such, and the offering of cakes, he lifteth them in vessels of libation he poureth it, be made in them. My head is like unto the head of Ra, and my limbs are strong as the limbs of Tum. My tongue is the tongue of Ta, and my throne is the throne of our Lady Ahathor. I utter the words of my father Tum. The handmaid of Seb is constrained, and all are bowed in fear before me. They glorify me in their hymns. Divine hair of Seb is the name wherein they do invoke me, to protect the earth, who am its Lord and God. The god Seb refreshing me maketh his as mine own. The dwellers in Amun bow down their heads unto me, for I am their Lord, their bull. I am more powerful than the Lord of time. I shall enjoy the pleasures of love, and gain the mastery over millions of years. He then resumeth the throne of Ra, as the might of God, saying, The light is mine, its rays consume me. I have made a secret door into the house of Ra and Tum, of Kephra and Ahathor. I am thy Theban, O Mentu, the prophet Onkoph-Nakhonsu. Rising, he moveth to the west, or as some say to the south, saying with the sign, Hathor, Lady of Amentet, mighty dweller in the funeral mountain, I of Ra, dweller before him, beautiful of fire in the boat of millions of years, be they favorable unto us. And let thy light and beauty be with us, thy lovers in the house of peace. Abrahadabra. He knocketh. This opening and closing of the temple is observable on all occasions. Any other ceremony, such as evocation, invocation, initiation, and all secret rituals, should be performed when the temple is open. Also, in the case of initiations, their birth, death, and marriage, with such additional rituals as may be taught, should take place actually in an open temple. Followeth the ceremony of admitting a neophyte to the mysteries, which is to be performed upon him before he is admitted to an ordeal. The ritual called passing through the Tuat. The officers are 3 in number. Invisible are Tanek for Nuit, Beznameut for Hadit. Thence cometh forth visible, the lowest point of the red triangle of our order, Onkoph-Nakhonsu for Rahur-Kwit. The ceremony is to join the candidate, or ego, with him. The officer is also Tem, to open, Ra, to close, Kephra, to admit, and Ahathor, to seal the grade. He is thus the pentagram in himself, the Aerophant. His dress is that of the Magus, described by Abramelin. The wand is his hand, but the spear and sword are ready. The candidate dresses as is his custom, fasts for 40 and 20 hours. Before the admission he eats a full meal. Then the officer, approaching, saith, Hail, hail unto thee, O Tum, who comest forth from the abyss of water. Hail unto thee, who shinest with double splendor. Let thy words be spoken with might unto those Khus that abide in the hall, and let me triumphant enter into their assembly. I hath performed the decree which hath been spoken to the armies of Ra at eventide. Therefore let me come forth as a living Khu in the place of the dead. Let the gods rejoice, one and all, crying aloud, Hail, Mayan! Even as they cry, Hail, O Ta, that ariseth from the holy place of the Ancient One, that is Anu. The candidate then undresses, and is clad in the shroud of a corpse. His feet and hands are wrapped closely. His mouth is stopped, and his eyes are blindfolded. He is then placed in the coffin. The officer approaches now that the coffin has been carried into the darkened temple. He stops, with a napkin dipped in the consecrated water, the nostrils of the candidate, much distressing him. Hail, thou god Temu! Grant unto me the sweet breath that dwelleth in thy nostrils. The officer stops the nostrils of the candidate, the breaths from his nostrils upon them. Homage to thee, O thou Lord of brightness, at the head of the great house, Prince of the night of the thick darkness. I am come forth as pure Ku. My 2 hands are behind me, and my lot is that of my forefathers. O grant thou me thy mouth, that I may speak therewith, and guide thou to me mine heart in the hour of cloud and darkness. The officer removes the mouth wrapping and kisses the candidate upon the mouth. Homage to thee, O Ra, who in thy setting art Tum Heru Kut, of thou divine one, O thou who hast formulated thy father and made fertile thy mother, thou primeval orb whence all things arise. When thou appearest in the back of thy bark, men shout for joy at thee, thou maker of the gods. Thou didst stretch out the heaven wherein thy 2 eyes might travel. Thou didst make the earth to be a vast chamber for thy Kus, so that every man might know his fellow. The Sektet boat is glad, and the Matet boat rejoiceth, and they greet thee with exultation as thou journeyest along. The god Nu is content, and thy mariners are satisfied. The Urius hath overthrown thine enemies, and thou hast carried off the legs of Apep. The officer unbinds the legs of the candidate. Thou art beautiful, O Ra, each day, and thy mother Nuit embraceth thee. Thou settest in beauty, and thy heart is glad when thou in the horizon of Manu, the mountain of the west, and the holy ones thereof rejoice. The hearts of the lords of the Tuat are glad when thou sendest forth thy light in Amentet. Their 2 eyes are directed towards thee. The officer removes the eye bandage, makes a flash of light, and gazes deeply into the eyes of the candidate, as he says, They press forward to see thee. Their hearts rejoice when they see thee at the end. Thou hearkeneth unto the cries of them that are in the funeral chest. Thou dost away with their helplessness and drivest away the evils that are about them. The officer unbinds and presses the hands of the candidate. I am thy father that lifteth thee up. He raises the candidate. Thou givest breath to their nostrils, and they take hold of the boughs of thy bark in the horizon of Manu. Thou art beautiful every day, O Ra. May thy mother Nuit embrace victorious. The officer looses and lets fall the shroud and embraces the candidate. The officer leaves the candidate and circumambulates the temple 11 times widdershins, chanting the song even as the traders breathe, etc. He then approaches the candidate and says, Repeat after me. I who am nothing deny all that I was. I who am nothing affirm all that I shall be. I swear that as Nuit is about me, as Hadit within me, so am I Rahur Kuit, in blessing and worship to the beast, the prophet of the lovely star. The officer withdrawing the brand CXX from the altar, marks the candidate on brow, heart, and head. The officer now circumambulates the temple 11 times, reciting, I am the girdle of the robe of the god Nu. Here he robes the candidate in the proper robe, which shineth and sheddeth light upon that which belongeth to his breast, sending forth light into darkness, bringing to peace the 2 gods that are at war in his heart. Mine is the mighty spell that raiseth up him that was fallen. I have taken possession of the Lord of darkness. I have rescued the eye of the sun. I have brought forth Thoth and made even the scales of balance. Mine is the Uraric crown. Maya is in my body. Its mouths are of turquoise and rock crystals. My home is among the burrows of lapis lazuli. I am he that sheddeth light in the darkness. The darkness is made light and bright by me. I have given light in the darkness. I have overthrown the devourers. I have sung praises to them that dwell in the darkness. I have raised up those that wept, that had hidden their faces and sunk down for sorrow, and they did look upon me. Hail, for I am he whose voice is silence. I have opened the way. I have made light the darkness. I am come, having made an end of the darkness which hath become light indeed. The lights are turned fully on. The candidate is led from the temple to the something of the boat. This boat is 7 cubits in length. It is of green porcelain and canopied with a heaven of stars, consecrated. At the bow is the golden disk of Ra with his image. The officer says, "The paths which are above are laid unto rest. Hail thou, great God, who art in thy boat. Bring thou me into thy boat." The officer puts the candidate into the boat. I have entered the boat, and I sail by the command of Ra. Place canopy of heaven over the boat. Get thee back, O serpent dwellers in fire, that maketh to cease the motion of my boat. Get thee back to the sky, for that which is in my hand is ready. I stand up in the place of restraint. The boat advanceth, taking heed to thy way. Thy head is covered up while I sail on over the heaven. I am he who lifteth up strength. I am come, I am become master of the serpents of Ra, when he setteth in my sight. At eventide I go round about heaven, but thou art fettered with the fetters that Ra hath ordained. I, even I, guide the boat, wherewith Apep is driven back, and I know the divine souls of the west, Tum and Sebek the lord of Baklan, and Hathor the lady of the evening. The boat advances. I, even I, know the eastern gate of heaven whence Ra cometh, with a favorable wind. I am the helmsman of the eternal bark. I know the 2 sycamores between which Ra showeth himself. I, even I, know the divine souls of the east, Heru Quit, and the calf of the goddess Kara, the bright morning star. The boat advances to the first pylon. Get thee back, return, get thee back, thou crocodile Sui. Thou shalt not advance to me, for I live by the magical words of my mouth. The boat circles the temple deosil, leaves it, and again faces the pylon. So for each utterance. My front teeth are like knives, and my jaw teeth are like unto his that dwelleth upon the hill of terror. Circle. Hail thou that sitteth with thine eyeballs upon my magical words. Circle. Thou shalt not carry me away, O thou serpent rarid, and advance not hither unto me. Stand thou still, and thou shalt eat the vat of the abomination unto Ra. Thou shalt crunch the bones of the cat of slime. Circle. Depart from me, Aphost, for thou hast lips that gnaw. For I am Kimu, the lord of Peshamu. I bring the words of the gods to Ra. Circle. Homage to you, ye 2 Rekit goddesses, ye sisters twin. Circle. Hail ye 2 Mert goddesses. I bring a message to you concerning my magical words. I shine from the Sektet bow. I am Rahur-Ka, the son of strength and light. Circle. Get thee back, depart, get thee back from me, O Apep. Depart from the divine place of Ra's birth, wherein is the house of thy terror. I am Ra, terrible and triumphant. Ra setteth, Ra setteth. Ra is strong at his setting. Apep hath fallen. Apep, the enemy of Ra, is overcome. Circle. Get thee back, high, thou impure one, the abomination of Asar. Tehuti hath cut off thine head, and I have slain thee and hurled thee utterly asunder. Get thee back from the Neshuit boat, as with a fair wind Ra saileth over his head. Circle. O thou, scepter of joy, let me not be hurt of any, nor by man, nor by gods, nor by the holy dead, nor by the violently slain, nor by them of old times, nor by any mortal, nor by any human soul. The boat entereth the temple and circleth it, but not going out. It is brought to the center thereof. The canopy is removed. My hair is the hair of Nu. My face is the face of the disk. My eyes are the eyes of Hathor. My ears are the ears of Aput. My nose is the nose of Keutikos. My lips are the lips of Anpu. My teeth are the teeth of Sergit. My neck is the neck of Asi. My shoulders are the shoulders of Baneb Tatu. My arms are the arms of Neith. My spine is the spine of Sati. My phallus is the phallus of Asar. My sinews are the sinews of the lords of Karaba. My chest is the chest of the mighty and terrible one. My belly and back are the belly and back of Sekhet. My buttocks are the buttocks of the eye of Hor. My hips and legs are the hips and legs of Nuit. My feet are the feet of Ta. My bones are the bones of the living gods. There is no member of my body that is not the member of some god. The officer, who has touched each part of the candidate as he has named it, with his wand now raises him from the boat, and embraces him, kissing his brow. Then cries he with a loud voice, Abrahadabra, I receive thee into the order of Thelema. He knocks. The boat has been removed. The candidate kneels at the altar while the officer makes the great invocation from his throne. They then walk round the temple 11 times, widdershins. The left arm of the officer around the waist of the candidate, and the candidate's right arm around him. The officer saith as they go, I am a swallow, I am a swallow. I am the scorpion, the daughter of Ra. Hail thou flame, whose scent is sweet. Hail ye gods, whose scent is sweet. Hail thou flame that cometh from the horizon. Hail thou Lord of the city. Stretch out thy hand unto me. Let me advance with my tidings, for my speech is of great gladness. Open the doors to me, and I will declare the things that I have seen. Horus hath become the divine prince of the boat of the sun. Unto him hath been given the name of his father Osiris. I have stretched out my arms at the word of Osiris. I am entered in, I am justified. I come forth worthy at the gate. I am pure at the palace of the passage of souls. I have destroyed the evil that clung to my members upon earth. Hail, ye twin hawks upon your pinnacles, ye that guard the gate of the abyss. For I am made as ye. I am he that cometh forth by day. I have passed the hidden ways. Yea, Mayan, I am he, the bornless spirit, having sight in the feet, strong, and the immortal fire. I am he, the truth. I am he that hate that evil should be wrought in the world. I am he that lighteneth and thundereth. I am he, from whom is the shower of the life of earth. I am he, whose mouth ever flameth. I am he, the begetter and manifester unto the light. I am he, the grace of the world. The heart girt with the serpent is my name. They go to the throne. O my seat, O my throne, come unto me, and be ye round about me. He sets the candidate on his throne. I am your Lord, O ye gods. Come ye and take your places in my train. The officer prostrates himself before the candidate and worships him. The officer rises and takes his spear from beside the candidate. He touches with its point the brand 666 and says, As this brand is not to be effaced from thy body, so is this initiation not to be effaced from thy soul. The officers then lead him from the throne and biddeth him stand at the altar, while the closing is performed. Afterwards, he or she may entertain him or her into the precincts of the holy house, to a banquet and act friendly toward him. And your fathers hath fed on the manna in the wilderness, and are dead.